YouTube, what's going on? Welcome to Verbal One, and I'm your host, Big Verb, aka Scale_Nation on Twitter. Welcome to the show. If this is your first time stopping by, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss none of this juice. We talking about the Dolphins. We having a reaction of the Dolphins and the Jets. This was a big game for the Dolphins coming off the loss that they faced. The Dolphins moved on to 7-4. The Jets move on to 0-11. The Dolphins are trying to make the playoffs. The Jets are trying to win that number one pick. It was a tough game at the beginning. The Dolphins played without Tua this week. For what's being spread around the league is that Tua missed a couple games. What's being said is that it's a hand injury, something along those lines. He's really been adamant about being a student on the sideline. They felt pretty confident about Fitzpatrick in this game against the Jets because we all kind of see that the Jets are tanking. We're gonna go over the offensive keys, the defensive keys for the Dolphins. We also gonna talk about Quentin Williams. He was solid, real solid for the Jets. He's got a bright future in the league. And we're gonna talk a little bit about Adam Gase. Jumping right into it, in the first quarter, the Dolphins came out pretty strong defensively, but again, the offense is struggling. The Dolphins can't run the ball. I tell a lot of guys all the time, they hit me on the message board. A couple guys joined my Patreon and they asked me a couple questions about the Dolphins because I'm so new with doing videos. I usually just did it word of mouth. What is the Dolphins' problem as far as running the ball? And the Dolphins are young. That wasn't their problem last year. Running the ball should be something that they do well because they have Eric Flowers and running the ball is his specialty. Kenley, running the ball would be more of his strong suit, being a rookie from Georgia. And then Robert Hunt, I do think that running the ball would be something that he can contribute to well as well. But at this moment, it's a combination of running back talent, also a combination of the play calling, as far as them being able to hit with chunk rushes, every down and down in and down out, first down, keeping the team off balance is something that they do pride themselves on. So running the ball in downs that you're not too certain that they're going to run it is, something that you can see in the Dolphins game plan, but not being able to run the ball at will is causing the offense to be stagnant. And depending on that one-on-one, because some teams, give them that one-on-one coverage. Well, mostly that's what they've been seeing is giving them the opportunity to throw the ball a little bit more. Fitzpatrick was throwing the ball a lot around the yard this Sunday, something that he loves to do. He took care of the ball, no interceptions. He had 2 touchdowns. He threw one to Gasecki, and he threw one to Shaheed. The tight ends, he likes those tight ends. They're pretty big guys. But the bulk of the yardage came from Devontae Parker. Devontae Parker had 8 catches for 119 yards. Gasecki had the big one though. The big one was over the rookie from Cal. It was pretty. It was a pretty pass. It was thrown before he was even in position. It was a 50-50 pass, and those are the passes that they feel like Tua needs help. Seeing, learning, and being confident in throwing for the Miami Dolphins for him to have a promising future with the Dolphins. The Dolphins right now, their advantage is more size at the receiver and tight end position. They do have Jakeem Grant. Like I spoke on the last reaction when they played the Denver Broncos, he had Jakeem Grant. And I do think that Flores feels like that's one thing that Tua should be able to bring is that deep ball accuracy, hitting speed guys, because that's what we saw from Tua in college. With those 5-star recruits, with those top end speed guys from Ruggs over there in the Vegas Raiders to Jerry Jeudy over there with the Broncos, all the way to the senior that Alabama is still holding on to, Devontae Smith. These guys have been extremely fast. These guys are known for speed, and that's what they were able to take advantage of, and they were always wide open for Tua. But I just feel like the speed of the game is something that he's not had to deal with because he's been playing ahead, and when you're playing ahead, you don't really have to, you don't really have to put all the pressure on a young quarterback. So the speed of the game is something that he's just like taking what the defense gives him. And I think when they need him, like what they needed him last week, when they needed him, he couldn't. It's the speed of the game. He showed that he wasn't ready. So they're at a point right now where they're comfortable enough to allow him to learn from Fitzpatrick. The team doesn't really know if Fitzpatrick will be back. He's really taken being benched hard in the press. So, the team is looking at the situation like they need to get all the educational moments that they can for Tua. They need to get him now. Because I do believe that next year they're going to give him the keys to the franchise, especially if they're not able to draft a quarterback that they will feel like will be, a first string quarterback. They'll be in position to do a lot of things. Having a quarterback like Tua is something that they feel like that's a treasure. It's a promising situation. So they're gonna take advantage and they're gonna put all their eggs in that basket. But back to the game, Xavier Howard had his 7th interception. He's at the top of the league in that. He's doing well on one-on-one. Byron Jones is doing well in my opinion as well. They didn't give up a touchdown. The Jets were running the ball pretty well in the first half. Gore had almost 60 yards in the first half running the ball. He looked real young. He looked real fresh. Second half, the Dolphins made a little bit of adjustments, and he left the game with only 74 yards. So he only got like 14 to 15 yards in the second half. The Miami Dolphins have a pretty good defensive scheme, and we know that's what's carrying the team. They can stop the run. They're a tough team to beat. And the Jets, I know that they have a Hall of Famer in Frank Gore, and they have a former Super Bowl champ in Flacco as their backup, and then Sam Darnold, which was a top pick in the draft. They have talented guys, but we know what their goal is. Their goal is to get another top talented guy, which is in the number one pick in the draft. So looking at the defense of the Jets, Quinnen Williams, a solid defensive tackle. This guy's gonna be good for a while. They've had a few come in and out of there. They had a couple high picks on the defensive line that didn't stick around, that didn't pan out to be as promising. But I do think that Quinnen Williams will give them solid play for the Jets. They traded away the middle linebacker, and then the linebackers, Neville Hewitt was a guy. He had a stint with the Dolphins. He was drafted by the Dolphins, and he was an Adam Gase guy. Adam Gase is, still swearing by guys saying that, Neville was a solid ball player. He just didn't get a chance to get on the field, etc. That was said in the game, and he made a few flashing plays. He's a strong linebacker. And he has pretty decent speed. Is he a top elite linebacker in the league? No. Is he a solid rotational linebacker? For sure. Would he be in our rotation if he played for the Dolphins now? For sure. I think that you get the same thing out of Samuel Ogben. The linebacker that we have, you probably pretty much get the same thing. A strong-handed tackler, a solid guy, a guy that's not afraid to put his head in the hole. You get that out of Hewitt, and that's pretty. He flashed a lot in the game, and he played pretty well. But Quinnen Williams is a solid piece that they have in the middle of that defense. It got to a point in second half where Fitzpatrick was pretty much just managing the game. He was able to punch it in with that second touchdown to pretty much shut the door on the Jets. And that was pretty much what all she wrote for the Jets in that game. It was followed up by Adam Gase being questioned about play calling. Was he calling the plays? And then one of the reporters mentioned to him that the offensive coordinator was talking to somebody while the offense was running plays, so it was impossible for him to be relaying the plays to the quarterback. And Adam Gase said, "Oh, okay, I was doing third down." And then after that, it was like, well, it was a couple downs, and then he was like, "Oh no, I was just running some 2-minute one." The guy's just a terrible liar, man. Adam Gase is a tough guy to listen to. He's a tough listen. We know how it is to have Adam Gase. He was a coach here. Everyone knows that he didn't get fired a good 10 minutes before the Jets picked him up, and we're happy for them. We're happy that he's no longer our problem. We know that they're what they're trying to do, and that's why he hasn't been let go. He's gonna ride. He's gonna take the plane all the way down, and The Jets, they get what they ask for when they hire Adam Gase. Um, the Dolphins are currently in the playoff hunt with a 7-4 record. If the playoffs started today, they would be playing against the Tennessee Titans and Derrick Henry in that run game. That was if the playoffs started today, but fortunately, we have a couple more weeks in the playoff. Pitcher can shape up a way or two. We have the Cincinnati Bengals without Joe Burrow coming up this Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And I think that the Dolphins are prepared for that game. I think the defensive package that they'll throw at Cincinnati would be substantial. I do think that Cincinnati does have a solid wide receiver crew. They still do have Mixon and Giovanni Bernard, a young guy from down here in Miami. They still have those guys, so it's still a NFL team and it's still NFL talent on the other side of the ball. So the Dolphins are going to come out and they're going to have to bring it. They're going to have to, hit whomever the quarterback may be in the mouth, and they're going to have to, play that solid front seven defense, and they're going to have to stop the run. They're going to have to do what Dolphin football has been looking like for the 2020 season to continue on to battle into the playoffs. As we come down to the ending of the season, the defensive secondary for the Miami Dolphins has been pretty solid. McCain has been able to stay healthy, and Eric Rose been able to contribute as far as tackling wise near the line of scrimmage, which is allowing the Miami Dolphins to run that cover zero, and allowing them to apply pressure. And a guy that's been shining in that scheme has been Brandon Jones, the safety slash nickel from the University of Texas. He had a sack this week. Him and Emmanuel Ogben, they met at the quarterback in the game, and it just led me to see that he's been playing at a very good speed for a rookie. That was something that we was expecting to see from Noah Ngbenagabi, the rookie from Auburn. What we weren't able to see that when he was able to start when he had that time. But Brandon Jones has been a solid tackler. He's been very physical. He's been a delight to see for the Miami Dolphins, and we're looking for more from him. DeAndre Washington was the running back this week. He was able to give the Dolphins, some contributions at the running back position. He also was in a combination with Matt Breida. Matt Breida gave us 4.5 yards a carry. He only had 8 carries. So I don't know if the Dolphins are just like piecemealing him in the run game, or they're saving him. Or is he babying an injury? I wasn't sure. But DeAndre Washington came in and had 13 carries for 49 yards, almost 4 yards a carry. He did pretty well in the passing game as well. I like his foot speed. He got 2 receptions for 11 yards, but I like his foot speed. I like Gaskins. I've met those 2 running backs from the University of Washington. DeAndre Washington, who played this week, is from Texas Tech. He's a diverse back to me. He's more of a third down situation, but in those situations where the Dolphins are running the ball, you can get a lot of bang for your buck using a speedy guy like that on first and second as well, when a team isn't seeing you as a physical running team. So they're not really calling plays to, as you might say, stop your running game. They're really just calling plays to be disruptive. So DeAndre Washington is he was solid. I don't think that he's the future. I do think the Dolphins will make an investment as far as running back goes in the 2021 season. Flores called a pretty solid game, and I think Gailey did what Gailey does, which is go with the flow and it doesn't really put the game on the line. Knowing his quarterback, knowing Fitzpatrick, he could get a little excited and get a ball to the other team. We were able to get out of there without any interceptions, anything like that thrown. It was a running back by Patrick Laird, the running back from Cal. He was stripped in the game. I believe it was the third quarter. but it wasn't much to write home about. The Dolphins defense shut the door on that situation, but they got to do better with the run game. They got to do better with getting the ball to guys that are going to make plays. And I like what I saw. What I do think is if the playoffs was a question, I would prefer for the Dolphins to get better, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they'll make the playoffs if they get better. Seeing that the race that they're in right now, the Colts have pretty much the same record, 7-4. The Colts have not been on I would say a upward as far as momentum as far as the season. So I do think we'll beat them out, but I do not like the matchup as far as the run game goes with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, I don't think anyone wants to see that guy right now. I do think he's probably the best offensive player in the NFL right now. I'm not gonna throw an award on him, but I will say I do think that guy is worth every dollar, whatever they're paying him. Plus that, Tannehill's reaping the benefit off a good run game. He has two good receivers out there, two good draft picks. Vrabel's doing a great job with Tennessee. Simmons from Mississippi State was an awesome pickup. He's been nothing but an enforcer, nothing but a physical disruptor. Number 98, he's been nothing but a problem for opponents for the Tennessee Titans, and it's been exactly what I thought it would be from Simmons. I figured he would be a real disruptive defensive tackle / nose guard in the league. But we don't have to deal with that right now. We'll deal with that when the time comes. On to the Cincinnati Bengals. Everybody keep it locked in. This is the beginning of a new streak. Coming off that loss from last week with 7-4. Everyone's trying to stay safe. You guys stay safe. Thank you for joining me right here on Verbal One. And remember, lock me in, subscribe me, put me on your Facebook, put me in your sports groups. Let everyone know Verbal One, and I'm your host, Big Verb. Love is love.